Hello, my name is Mathilde, and I am a counselor in Lancashire. I come to you because today is the 12th of September, which means that we are ready for the beginning of October, on the 1st of October, which is the NHS program to quit smoking. And I'm wondering if you are ready, if you have prepared yourself. So, uh, because what I've noticed that a lot of people just start doing the process of quitting smoking, but they're not 100% prepared in what they might need and what would happen. I thought about sharing with you what my experience is, not only as a counselor who works with people in recovery from addiction here in Lancashire, addiction from substance abuse or substance misuse, but also somebody who quit smoking last year. And as of now, it is almost 1 year, and I haven't smoked since. I haven't lapsed or relapsed since, and I did it without using e-cigarettes and with a little bit of help from the NHS. Actually, I would say the emotional help was extremely important from the NHS. Um, but I think that my system, which was my system, actually worked for me. So, one of the first things that I would like to stress with you, if you wanted to quit smoking and give it a go this October, you still have got 2 weeks, but what you really need to do is to prepare your own system. Um, Smoking, to me, as any other form of addiction, including emotional addiction, which is codependence, stems from the fact that we are trying to placate whatever pain, boredom, whatever promise that we have inside. We're trying to placate this with something which is external. In this case, in our case, we're talking about cigarette smoking. I can tell you that my smoking was most of the times because either because of boredom, but more than anything else was because of reward. I.e., you have been such a good girl, so I don't know, I've washed all the pots, now I can sit and have a cigarette, or I've hoovered the whole of the top floor, I've sorted my office and my studio, which means that now I can actually sit down and have a cigarette. But the other reason why I smoked was, and I'm not talking just the fact that, of course, I'm a daughter of people who passed away because of addiction. So one could say that there was an addictive mentality in the family. Yes and no, because I don't buy very much into that. But definitely, I did not have most of the time the courage to take time for myself. I did not have the strength and the ability to say, you know what? I need 5 minutes. I need you to leave me in peace for 5 minutes. There was an underlying sense of guilt, an underlying sense of being inappropriate, not good enough, and too selfish if I asked for 5 minutes just for myself. So my cigarettes was for me you know what, I need 5 minutes. And of course, that was the reason for me to go out, leave, I don't know, the class, leaving office, leaving the meetings, leaving family, leaving husband, and just go out and have my cigarette. So this is one of the reasons that for me meant smoking. Of course, the moment that I've decided to quit smoking, I was aware that my smoking did not just have to do with the fact of having a physical dependence, because physical dependence from nicotine, somehow it is the easiest thing to work on. But I had to go through the whole process of the emotional dependence. And that time, this is why what I've actually did, um, I've requested as the NHS as a help the patches. They gave me both the patches and the little lozenges and the tablets and gums to chew. I've actually only used for the whole of the 12 weeks which the program in the end lasted. I've only used the patches, and that because I knew psychologically that the moment that I had the patches on, nicotine wouldn't have been an issue in my body. What I needed to work on and understand where it was coming from was actually the ritualistic part of going out, rolling up a cigarette, licking it, stick it together, put it to your mouth, and then let it and having this. That was the ritual part that I had to work on. And not just on that, but all the reasons behind that part of the ritual. And as I said, because I thought that the nicotine having the patches was already taken care of, I didn't have to worry about that. Personally, I don't like the idea of actually exchanging the smoking with the e-cigarettes, because even though maybe you don't use them with nicotine, but the whole ritual of actually puffing away, it is exactly the same. So you are actually still smoking. So you haven't quit smoking. You have actually simply exchanged system. And I know this might not be liked by some people, and I'm okay with that. This is just my personal point of view, and I'm okay to say it. No, you are actually still smoking. Um, the fact of having something which is a dependence, which means being addicted to something, comprises such a larger a spectrum of emotions and feelings than just the fact of actually going out and having a cigarette, or driving while having a cigarette, or whatever it is. So you have to be prepared to go through a whole change. So if you think it as I'm going through a series of a crisis, which will probably last about 12 weeks, because that's the program of all the patches that you will be given. So if I'm going through the whole process of a change of a whole of myself, of my perception, of my understanding, it's not just a physical thing, but of myself. um, I'm grounding myself in a different way. I'm approaching life in a different way. I've decided to be free, and with all the knowledge of whatever freedom means for you, and the unknown might mean for you, um, that's okay. Then I'm saying, well, dig deep, uh, dive straight into whatever problem you might have that means that you have been smoking for how long you remember you've been smoking. I don't know. Did you start in your teenage years? Was it showing off? Did you learn it from somebody else? What about your role models at the age? I'm thinking about, I don't know, identity stages when I'm talking therapeutically about the Erickson stages. So the stage of identifying with something. Do I identify with the role? Do I identify with a persona? I, the smoker, and so much of the time that I actually haven't changed, but I'm still identifying with that kind of role. Um, there is there are a lot of things that are taken into consideration. That doesn't take away the fact that if you um, deciding to swap addiction and to going from smoking cigarettes to using e-cigarettes with no nicotine, your body allegedly can feel better until we find out whatever other health issues maybe the e-cigarettes are causing, which we are not 100% sure yet. Um, I'm just saying, if you want to quit, really quit, which means really stop smoking. And smoking is not just nicotine, smoking is being dependent. Smoking means using a comfort zone, a comfort blanket for a pain that you have inside, a discomfort that you have inside, with something, and patching it up with something external, which is nicotine and smoking cigarettes. So I'm gonna swap the camera now, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I've been using and what my process was. So keep up the good work. Please, 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 please try to do Stoptober. And yeah, you know what? Just do it. And if it goes wrong, just do it again, and then start again and start again. And the people from the NHS, they might be, up to their eyeballs with things that I've got to do and people that I've got to follow, but they are helpful. Find your the chemist which is closer to your home, and go there every week religiously. Make it a ritual, not just a routine, for yourself, for your own self-care. And this is the most important thing. Bye. So, welcome back, and here we are again. So, this is the system that I actually created to keep with me, and that I've prepared before Stoptober started. And it didn't take me actually long to prepare this sort of like a packaging that I used to carry with me. If you can see actually the size of my hands, this is like a sort of like an A5 kind of size. It's quite light, so it's easy to carry with you, to put in your bag or whatever it is. Of course, you don't have to do it this way, but because of course I thought about somehow creating a proper ritual, creating proper something that was mine, I thought about actually making the whole of the bag, using the bell, etc. So creating something that was specific for my Stoptober period and the quitting smoking. So I live in Lancashire. I even took the time to go one day to Hepton Bridge. In Hepton Bridge there's a load of shops, and in one of these little shops I actually managed to buy the felt. I bought of course the button, the thread and the belt. I wanted to create something that was specific for my project of quit smoking. Now what's inside? When I went to see the person who was about to help me for quitting smoking, of course, she has been given me a lot of material. I had the Stoptober packages, stuff that I've collected every time, I don't know, that I went to my GP. I had some extra notes, stuff that I found online, and of course when I've signed up for Stoptober, they've given me the calendar, so I had all the days and I kept them with me because it was nice to see, oh, you know, like you start from day 4 and then you get to day 21. It seems such a quick and easy thing to do, so I kept everything. And because I've tried to quit smoking many times before, I collected different and various Stoptober's material along the way. At the very beginning, when I tried to do Stoptober the first time, they were also given something to play with your hands and keep always in your hands. This time they didn't give the kind of thing. So this is why one of the reasons that I opted to get something which I could actually play with, that because it was a bell and it was in my bag, I was always a constant little reminder of the fact that I was quitting smoking. That was my project for the time. And as I said, there's lots of material, lots of stuff. Any chemist or any GP you can find loads of materials, and I had it all with me because I thought it is just a month, so I can actually carry this weight with me as a reminder of the reasons why I wanted to quit smoking. On top of this, what I did, I actually printed out and binded in a very cheap way, as you can say, very easy, nothing fancy, but I wanted it to be that way, a sort of booklet. Actually, that was of course upside down. Here it is. With materials and stuff that I personally found interesting and important. First of all, I wrote this, like, of course, my handwriting, and I wrote, do it for yourself. That was, of course, the 1st of October 2015. Detox yourself not only from nicotine and poison, but also in everything that stops you and drags you down, like bad relationships, hang-ups, hurts, patterns, anything that stops you from being free. And if you remember what I was telling you before, this is exactly the same reason. What I was telling you before, when you're actually quitting smoking, take it as a very personal project. It doesn't embody just the fact of quitting smoking, but it's way larger than that. And of course, being so I had an extra paper because I wanted to write some notes, and then I printed out some material such as this one,
I don't know, the addictive personality, stuff that I could actually use and relate to. What is weird is that, of course, I used to smoke in the house. I know it's bad enough smoking, but also smoking in the house, not good at all. What happened was that, of course, if you smell the paper now, because I was smoking in the house, of course, it still stinks of nicotine, which is a good reminder of not smoking. So there is a lot of material, as I said, also from a Buddhist perspective, and you can really find online. There are loads and loads and loads of websites about quitting smoking. You can download. You can format them in the layout as an A5, print them out, 2 pages, like 2 sheets per, 2 pages per sheet of A4 in your printer. It's a very easy thing to do. And as I said, because you are doing this, because you are doing it for yourself. For example, here I had, you see some extra notes about from a Buddhist perspective. As I said, from a Buddhist perspective, and because it is your process, it is your quitting, it is your life that changes, I wanted to add, for example, some quotes. This is a picture that I've taken that is Hisham. There is a cemetery that says dedicated to a poet, a philosopher, and a failure. And I always think, if I should actually not manage to quit smoking, I would probably feel myself as a failure. Of course, the classical things, as I said, so much to choose from online, and I will never ever stop saying that, because it is your project, you can make it as you want. You don't have to do it like I did it. This is just one of my perspectives. This is one of my perceptions and point of view and suggestions that I can give you. So I did my calculations, like how much I was actually spending for quitting. There was exactly by quitting smoking, it was exactly the same amount that I'm actually paying for example, for my mortgage. Being bilingual, of course, I found a lot of material also on my in the other language, so I printed stuff, not just in English. I have printed long list of stuff that could be done during the day when you feel like smoking, but of course you can't. There's diet suggestions, the 8 glasses of water to drink, and of course parts of my diary and my own reminders, my own stuff that I actually wrote down, so that anytime I needed support, and I was in a place where I couldn't get any support, I was in a place where bearing in mind also the type of work and the line of work that I do, I'm dealing often with people who do have some, they're still feeling very tender and very wobbly and very vulnerable. So of course I had to be strong for them, and I thought if I create something like this, I can always carry that with me, bearing in mind that everything else I told you before is still valid. Quitting smoking is not just a matter of just quitting the act of smoking. It's just like quitting nicotine. You have to take it, if you want it to be on the long run and on the long term. It's a whole change. It's a whole change for you. It's a change of persona. It's a change of your locus of evaluation. It's a change of your relationship with other people. It's a change of relationship with yourself. And this is, of course, the most important thing. So it's entirely up to you. You don't actually have to go through this. I'm showing you this because, of course, this is the kind of system that I have. I don't know if you've watched my other videos. This is the kind of journal that I carry with me now all the time. So this is my journaling system. This is an original Midori a traveler notebook, the normal size, the regular, the traveler size. Some classical, reminder, of course, of what it would mean to bring out the best in you. Even now, it's almost a year I've quit smoking. Diary, collecting stuff and everything. Once you actually have something like this that is always with you, I know somebody can say that you're swapping addictions, so you are from being addicted to cigarettes, you might be addicted to journaling. I wouldn't say that is a form of addiction. I can leave it and drop it and take it with me wherever I want, if I want to, or not. Definitely, it helps for the sense of self-development and self-discovery, to keep you in check and to keep you grounded. Different formats. This is, you can actually see the size on hand. This is a Midori's traveler's notebook. I've also explained my system in another video that I made before, that you can actually go and check in the other video. If you fancy, because maybe you are more on the bullet journaling, you could actually use, this is a Leuchtturm 1917. This is the original bullet journal version, which unfortunately now seems to be out of print. And this is my morning routine. Again, you can see that in the other video, in which I explain in the whole of my morning routine. You are probably aware that as a counselor, I do work to keep myself in check and keep myself grounded. What I do every morning, because that is my morning routine with the journaling and coffee and everything, I actually use tarot card to journal in order to understand more archetypes and where I'm going, and symbolisms, and to keep somehow myself in check, and to discover if there is something that I like or that I don't like, and what it taps in me, and what kind of reactions I might have. So this is my morning routine with the journal. You can use exactly the same system. This is an A5. I'm talking maybe, and I don't want to stereotype, but maybe if you are I don't know, a man or a bloke or whatever, maybe you would like to actually have something like this. Take your time. Boundaries, which means no smoking, but also boundaries, which also means time for yourself, time to ground yourself, time to discover yourself, and just write down. Remember that the moment that actually whatever thoughts you have go on the page, there is and the excess weight that you would have had in your brain, in your thoughts processing, which is gone out. So you can actually use this as a brain dump. Instead of smoking, you can actually use something like this to write about your relationship with the cigarette, and your relationship with the process of quitting smoking, and to keep yourself in check, how you're doing, what your feelings, what your sensations, what your motivations, is your chin brain kicking in at a certain point, etc. If you are more of a girly type, you could also create something like this. This is I would say classical, simple smash book. People, of course, can do different things in different ways. I like sometimes to collect stuff like this because it is easier for me to work on a visual level, especially with part of the clients. Is one of the things that I like to do, is the discovering, using the meaning of art, not as in art therapy, as you are painting and I understand and describe your paintings, I understand things about you, but really as a mean of art. This is, oh my God, we could talk hours about Damien Hirst. Anyway, so this is another one of the things that you can do. You can easily find smash books either online or Hobby and Craft For example, there are aisles and aisles of material you can actually buy. Actually, the range, I think, also sells things like this. You don't actually have to go through a process and taking something that's so big and bulky. I found things similar to these books, for example, which is a normal book you can find at TK Maxx. If you're close to a TK Maxx, you can actually find something like this to use. You can use, just to show you different possibilities, this is actually a Japanese diary system, and you can actually find something like this. I've used this system when I was in the process of actually buying a house and having my own house, and I called this the intention, the book of intentions. So things that I liked, I've collected stuff along the way so that I could remember color coding, I could remember ideas of stuff that I wanted. The house that I bought at the time was actually the very first house that I would have ever bought by myself. So I really wanted that house, which is actually this house, to be as mine as possible. So the more that I was liking stuff, and so I was collecting things. So you could actually use something like this. This is a Japanese. I don't actually remember where I bought it. I think I bought it online, or maybe in a shop. No, I don't remember. I don't remember the system. Or if you are going to Paperchase, you can find something like this. This is even smaller than an A5, size of my hand, and you can write things in a diary like this. If you're more of a Moleskine, and if you want to go even into smaller version, you can actually write something like this. I went through a particular interesting, I would call it now, after 3 years, an interesting phase in my life by which I actually had a pocket notebook such as this one, soft version, always in the back pocket of my trousers or in my bag, and I had to write down, I had to take notes, I had to understand certain things, and so this is why I used like a very tiny Moleskine. But of course you got different versions. Again, if you are going to for example Paperchase, you can find also these little booklets, either with some sort of like dotted lines like this, or in this version I think this is completely white. Again, very small, they can stay in your pockets. I like this kind of size. This is also, you can find it at this is Waterstones actually. I don't know if they are available anymore. Sometimes you can find them online, sometimes you don't, and every time I find them I actually buy them. I'm not saying in bulk, they come in threes. I'll try if I remember to put some links below. And this is just a simple notebooks, almost the size of a Midori. Let me actually just take this stuff out for you to see. It is almost the size of a Midori. This is the Midori. They're actually slightly bigger, thinner, but slightly taller than actually a Midori. So I know that when I use these ones inside the Midori, they're actually sticking out a bit, but I mean they can still fit in, so that's not a problem. Or if you are going into any shop, I know that a lot of times, this is a present from a friend of mine, because she works at Max Mara, but I know that a lot of shops, they do and then maybe I still even give them for free to some of their clients. So this is actually another possibility. Alright, if you want to watch the other video which I made about my morning routine, you will actually see there the Book of the Soul, or the Soul Almanac, how I like to call it, which is nothing more than an evolution after I quit smoking of this. This is actually has been the very first thing that I've done, and this it's not always with me, but it's always handy, and I always keep it next to me because, of course, I've quit smoking. It's almost a year now. Sometimes, though, my chin brain tells me, "Yeah, come on, you've been a good girl, so you can actually have a cigarette." This is my chin brain kicking in. That's my self-protection mode that comes in. So at that time, I've got to remind my self-protection that I've been somehow alive and safe and protected because of the chin brain, but now I can actually do it by myself, and I don't need the chin brain, and I don't need the cigarettes. So I'm sorry, this video actually has been quite long, but I hope it's giving you some ideas about what system you could use. I'm repeating again, if you don't find that this is your system, it's okay, as long as you make it yours. It really has to be yours. What I'm giving you here is just an idea of how I've done it. What I do stress, though, is the importance of realizing how smoking involves so much more than actually just a simple act of inhaling and exhaling nicotine and smoke. So you take care out there. If there is any question or any other thing you would like to know, please do get in touch. If you would like any private sessions, whether it is even as help for quit smoking, or for working with archetypes, working with journaling, working with diaries, classical counseling, etc., please do get in contact and in touch, and all the details would be, as they say, at the bottom of the video. Thank you very much. Bye.